Everybody, welcome back. We are in the Power Wagon and we are headed to another adventure. And about the time you're watching this on YouTube, you'll probably be watching our trip from last week as well, since we've had some back-to-back trips. Last week, a handful of friends and I went up to the Rio Castillo area, just north of Cuesta, New Mexico, and did a few days camping along the river up there and had a blast. And I didn't take a lot of video, but I took some stuff to put a little video together. I'll piece in some pictures and make something so you guys can all take a look at it. Like I said, by the time you're watching the video of this trip, that one will most likely be posted as well. So, but what do we got going on today? Well, Allie's behind the camera. She's riding shotgun. And so it's just her and I. Mama's at home with our son Evan, looking after him. So Allie and I are going into Arizona to meet up with a good friend of mine, Uncle Dougie Camp Boss. He's got a fantastic YouTube page. Again, Uncle Dougie Camp Boss. Check out his YouTube page. He's got some great videos on there. He's kind of the resident expert of Arizona. So we take turns and trade off back and forth on meeting up with each other. Last trip, he came into New Mexico. I showed him around. We took him to some spots. The time before that, I went out with my son at the time, and we went out. He explores all over out there, and as you can see by his YouTube channel, he's got a lot of great video and a lot of great spots that he goes to. So this time we're going to meet him, and like I said, we're headed towards Springerville, Arizona, where we're going to meet up with him. Excuse me. And we'll top off with gas and we'll get some lunch. And I don't really have much more I can tell you. I pretty much told him, hey man, I want to come out. I want to meet up with you, do some camping, bring my daughter along with us. I'd like to be by some water because we always enjoy being by the water. And I kind of just put it all on his plate and he ran with it, and I didn't ask too many questions. So I'm not 100% sure where we're going. I know we're gonna do, I think, one night one place and 2 nights another place. He mentioned there being a lake at some point. He said it's gonna be a lot of dirt road and should be a great trip. And I really just didn't ask too many questions. I just said, okay, tell me where to meet you and I will follow you around for 4 days. So that is what we are doing. Again, we're headed to Springerville and we'll meet up with them there. But yeah, we got the truck packed, got everything we need in the back. You know, it's just the 2 of us, so it's not a ton of stuff, which is kind of nice. You know, it's just kind of the essentials. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting out of town and spending some time with my daughter and just having fun. Hopefully there's some water we can play in and swim. Yeah, so again, thank you guys for tuning in again. Please like and subscribe the channel. Stay tuned for more adventures from the Power Wagon family. We're always up to something. So again, thank you for joining us on another adventure. And yeah, we'll cut for now, and we'll hopefully get some more footage here when we meet up with Uncle Dougie. We'll talk to you guys in a minute. Well, we made it to Uncle Dougie. We're at the, what's the name of this place, Allie? The restaurant? Trail Finder.
Yeah, Trail Finder.
Yeah, so let's get out and say hi to Uncle Dougie here. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good, good.
How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Allie's in there. She's documenting the trip this time.
What up? Good deal. They don't see anything.
Well, they might think somebody's in there.
Yeah.
Well, we just finished lunch at Trail Finder. Pretty cool little spot. Allie, what'd you think?
It was really good.
Yeah, we both had the burgers. You can't go wrong with the burger. It was a good one. So, yeah, burgers and fries before hitting the trail. Uncle Dougie's inside washing up. He's coming out. There he is. And, yeah, we're heading over to the truck. So we've got a game plan. Gonna gas up and head to the trailhead, and we'll keep you posted along the way. All right, everybody, we're in the car. Got gas, got some Licky and Chewies from the gas station, and we are headed to the trailhead now. We got, you can pan over to Uncle Dougie in front of us, in Mad Maxine up there. That's the name of his rig. He's up in front of us leading the way. Again, he sent me the tracks on Gaia. I have them in my phone. But I'm leaving it up to him, just kind of tail gunner on this one. I'm just following and just gonna enjoy the weekend wherever we end up. We were talking at lunch. There's some cliff dwellings and petroglyph area that we might stop at. There's a lake along the route that we might stop at here in a little bit. So a lot of different options, and yeah, just really looking forward to hanging out and getting away from town. So Allie's excited, I'm excited. We got full bellies. We're about to air down when we get to the dirt, and then we should be kind of off grid for a while. So we'll get back to you soon once we have something cool for you guys to look at. We'll talk to you soon. All right, we're airing down. I'm going to 30 this time. And let's see where we're at. Almost there. That means you're almost there, Allie, on yours. Uncle Dougie said he's doing 35. He's a lot heavier than I am. Let's check it again. Start unscrewing it. Let's check Allie's tire. Good. Unscrew it. I'll take it back from you. Awesome. Can you put the caps back on for me, sweetie?
Yep.
We are at the trailhead here. Here's the road. Apache National Forest. And we're headed that way. I think we're gonna be circumnavigating that thing right there, that mountain right there. We're gonna go around that. So yeah, should be a good first day here. Like I said, I got a full belly, so I'm not too active. I'm kind of lethargic right now with all that food in my stomach, but we'll be on the trail here. And I think we're gonna stop at that lake, and if it's not rainy or nasty, which it looks like just overcast for now, we might actually dip in and do a little swim this afternoon. So stay tuned, more to come. Dougie's gonna launch his drone and get some footage here.
See, all the trees are down already, so that's less chance that I'm gonna hit them.
Yeah, that's everyone that's on the ground is one less.
My odds are better here.
Yes. Yeah, we were going through some really pretty country here. We do have a little bit of overcast, a little bit of drops, but nothing terrible. It's actually cooled down really nice. And we are not far from the lake. Yeah, real pretty out here. You'll see. Put some of this video together and you'll get a good idea of some of the country we're going through. So we were almost to camp. We got to a sign that said Luna Lake, so we decided to check it out. There is a campground here, but I think it's around that bend there. But we stopped to use the bathrooms, which were actually really clean and well maintained. And so Allie wanted to walk down and check out the water real quick. So we're just kind of sightseeing on vacation, enjoying it. All right, we're back on the trail after hanging out at Luna Lake for a little bit. It was really the water level was really low. It didn't look all that appealing. I don't think I'd swim in it. It's kind of murky, probably because the water level is so low. We did use the bathroom. Those were nice. I think I said in my last video they were actually surprisingly really clean in their day use area. And then we saw a sign that they had a campground there. So we decided to check it out and went over there, and there was quite a few people over there, and it wasn't close to the water. You know, and Uncle Dougie's like me, we don't necessarily like campgrounds unless we have to. If it had good facilities and was on the water where we could camp, then we might have thought about it. I think it would have been $30 for the both of us to have a spot for one night. But we decided, you know what, we're not very far from our original spot that he had looked at and shown me where we want to try to find something. So, and I asked him what the name of this mountain range is. I'll have Allie pan around here in a minute and get a shot. It's just really beautiful area that we're in. But yeah, so we're probably about 15 miles from looking for a campsite. We've just been really enjoying ourselves and not being in any kind of rush. It is about 4:30 in the afternoon. So, you know, we want to be at camp within the next hour, which is pretty much on par with where this camp spot that he found on the map is at. So yeah, Allie, if you want to pan around and show some people out the front window of kind of what we're in. We're kind of on this shelf road, I guess you'd say, and we are working our way down into this canyon here, and there might be a good possibility of being some water down there too. We're not 100% sure because of the weather they've had, and wasn't a really good snowfall, so we'll see what's down there. But anyway, that's where we're headed. We're going down and get down into this canyon and see what we can find for a camp spot. But really beautiful area. I do not know the name of this area, so I'll insert it when I edit the video. I'll find out where we were. I'll take a better look at the map and put a little tab on this video. But again, we're just kind of relying on Uncle Dougie. This is his turf. This is a new area for him, but he's done some research and I'm just kind of following. So super easy for me, no navigation or mapping or anything this time. I'm just following him and trusting that he's going to lead us somewhere nice, which I think he will. So yeah, having a good time, enjoying ourselves. We'll hit you guys back up when we get to camp. Talk to you then. So we're on the trail headed to camp, and we actually have to dip back into New Mexico for a little bit before we cut back over to Arizona. And cute little welcome to New Mexico sign and a cattle grate, and that Uncle Dougie is in New Mexico and we are still in Arizona. But we're about to get back in. I had to get a little video. I thought that was pretty cool. And work our way through New Mexico, back into Arizona, and then get to camp. So we were coming down this road here, this forest road, and happened to catch a glimpse of this 2-track that disappears down into these trees, and there's a small creek down there, and it's a great spot. I'm gonna get down there and park and set up here. I'm sure you'll see it a little bit later, but you can kind of see what we saw down there, over there where Dougie's pulling in. There's a huge fire pit. We can't have a fire stage 2 restrictions, but we'll have our propane fire pit. But it's tucked in amongst the trees, far enough from the service road. Good for now. It's about 5 o'clock, so it's perfect. Weather's good, and we walk down there. It's not buggy at all, which is great. So yeah, we're going down and setting up camp. So let me get the truck and get this done. Well, good morning, everybody. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I just got dressed and came down for some coffee. Allie is still asleep upstairs there, up there. And Uncle Dougie is on the other side over here, sitting enjoying his coffee. But yeah, very, very quiet morning, very quiet evening as well. No wind, very calm, nice night. We thought we might get some traffic on this forest road up here. It's a fairly large forest road, pretty well maintained. You know, I don't know how many people use it, but thought we might see some traffic, but we haven't seen anyone. It's been great. And like I said, we're just down here in this campsite, down along this creek. There's a little creek back there through all that brush. And yeah, somebody had a big, huge fire pit here, but stage 2 fire restrictions. No campfires. We had a propane fire last night. But yeah, you can kind of see we're tucked down in here. There's Uncle Dougie set up over there. And so we are, yeah, just kind of down here in this canyon. Made some coffee this morning with my normal creamer that I like. And the Red Arc inverter did great with the Keurig. It's always so easy. But Uncle Dougie pulled out a special treat this morning. And we've got some Mash and Mellow s'mores whiskey to spike our coffee this morning. So thank you for that. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Nothing crazy. But it certainly does taste good. So I'm going to go back to enjoying my spiked coffee. And we'll get back to you guys later. Uncle Dougie is over there making a video of a bunch of garbage that somebody before us dumped over there behind that tree on the ground. They just threw all their garbage on the ground. So he's making a video about that before we pick it all up. But I'm over here cooking up some breakfast meats. Want some hash brown patties we're gonna do, and just enjoying the morning. Allison is up getting ready. So yeah, breakfast and coffee. So, good morning. All right, we're all packed up. Dougie's in there cleaning some glass, I think. We're packed up, end of day 1, the morning of day 2. Headed to the next spot, see what we can find out here in Arizona with Uncle Dougie. So yeah, getting ready to load up and head down the road and see what we can find for the next place to call home for tonight. We'll talk to you soon. While we're in the truck, we came across a cool old bridge, and Uncle Dougie said, hey, let's stop. He's going to launch the drone and get some good footage of us. Again, this video won't be as cool as his. I'm sure he's got some great footage with that drone. He has a really, really high-end, nice drone, and he's been getting a lot of footage with that. So I'm sure the video he makes after this trip will be a lot better than the one you're watching now, but I'll put some kind of a link in it, or you can go to his page and check out his video as well. But so yeah, we left our camp, and it was really cool. As we were leaving, we were just about to drive out of our camp spot, and we heard some dogs barking. So we waited a minute, and sure enough, here come some dogs, and they're herding these cattle, and some real cowboys on horses, and they came through and pushed the cows through our camp. And I mean, we were all packed up, we were just getting ready to go, but they ran the cattle right in front of our vehicles and up down the road, and it looked like they were relocating them to another area. Maybe what would you say, maybe 10 cows total or something like that? Yeah, so
some little babies,
some babies. And yeah, so it's kind of cool to see these cowboys come through camp, and they wave, they thumbs up to the rigs and stuff, and they were pretty cool. So yeah, they moved the cows through this morning. Luckily we got packed up, and we're leaving just in time. It was kind of a cool thing to see before we left camp. So now we're just waiting. Uncle Dougie's doing his thing with the drone, and we're going to take off here in a minute. So all right, well, in the next one you'll see.
Hey, we gotta go back. I want to see it because I'm kind of in the trees a little bit. Oh, I crap. There we go. There we are. See how it's beeping? Yeah. It'll like... Oh, the tree limbs? Yeah.
This is kind of our crazy search for the post office at Blue, Arizona. Blue, Arizona is a very small and remote unincorporated community, and it's in Greenlee County near the eastern border of the state, very close to New Mexico. It's nestled in the scenic Blue River Valley, which is what we're traveling through here, within the Apache Sitgraves National Forest, and is known for its rugged beauty, wildlife, and isolation. The town was originally known as Whittam, named after a local settler, but was renamed to Blue after the nearby Blue River. It has a rich ranching history and served as a frontier outpost in the late 1800s. Due to its remote location, accessibility only by dirt roads, it has remained extremely small and off the grid. As of now, Blue has no central town infrastructure, no gas stations or grocery stores, of course. It does have a small K through 12 school. I think we drove by that and I pointed it out to Uncle Dougie when we drove by. The Blue School was what it was called. Serves local children and has operated for over a century. The population is tiny, sometimes fewer than 50 full-time residents. Well, we're down in this canyon still. We're looking for this post office in Blue Post Office, the town of Blue, and came down the road here. Let me flip the camera around. All right, we came down into this canyon. We got some clouds moving in. We're looking for the town of Blue Post Office, but haven't found it yet. But saw this bridge here, and they must have had some serious water here because this bridge got washed out. You can get a shot of it here. Yeah. So this got washed out at some point. Then they diverted the road instead of going over the bridge and down here. And you actually drive through the water to get. So there's the old bridge where the road would have gone. And we're down here. Allie's gonna get the token water crossing shot here for us. So, but I had to show you guys that bridge. I mean, I can't believe how high that water must have been to wipe that thing out.
Past this because I was expecting a nice big building, but here's our U.S. Post Office, Blue, Arizona 85922. Letters go in here. And for Tommy, look at that, Tommy, forever stamp. You did great work. I know you're probably sitting at the bar or on the golf course right now. Can't blame you. But we're going to use your former employee. Send an old birthday card.
I have to say, this is probably one of the most remote post offices I've ever visited.
This is definitely one of the most post offices. The best thing about this post office, shortest line I've ever been in a post office. All right,
yeah.
Let's get back to driving.
On to camp.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. The forest roads we traversed this trip were great. We didn't really have too many issues. They were all well maintained, not too washboardy, and very easy to drive. We spent a lot of time on these roads, so I'm glad that they were pretty well kept. We also didn't run into too many people, a random here and there, but for the most part, it was just us traveling through this part of Arizona, which was great. The scenery varied from down low in the canyon where it was super green and lush to getting up on more exposure roads and kind of up into the tree line where the trees were either had been burned out through a burn scar or were just a little thinner. But you'll see as we travel these roads to our next camp, the different types of terrain and landscape you're going to see as we change in elevation. So I don't have any footage of it, but we are on the road that I talk about later where Uncle Dougie was flying his drone trying to get some video of us kind of going along this shelf road, and he had the drone off to the left in this canyon here filming us as we were driving, and we come around one of these turns towards the drone to the left, and the drone reacted to our movement and kind of went into the hillside, and I thought for sure it was a goner. But anyway, we talk about it later, but I thought I'd point it out now so you can think back to when I bring it up. All right, well, here we are. Where are we at? I don't even know where we're at, man. I'm relying on you. Where are we?
Oh, I'll tell you real quick.
We found a magnificent spot, and I am just so happy. I could spend a week here in this spot, I think. We're going to show it to you in just a minute once Doug tells us where we're at.
The official campsite is Diamond Rock Campground.
Number 3.
And this is the Black River, the East Fork of the Black River. And we're on Forest Road 276. So we're just south of Big Lake. And we just beat this couple on their quad back in here. And they're going to be really pissed that we took this spot.
Yeah, I know. They were looking at this spot and said it's the best one they've seen. We decided we were going to take it. They knew we were going to take it, I think.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so kind of you can see Dougie's got a nice level spot there. We got the water in the sound in the background. You can see the power wagons parked over here. We just got here. We haven't popped the tops or nothing yet. And we're going to walk you down to the hidden grotto that I'm going to be sitting in here in a minute, because this is the maker of this whole little spot is this little Hugh Hefner grotto we got going on down here. Watch your step out, because I know you got the camera and there's rocks.
Yeah, we don't have to go to Big Lake.
Well, that's what I told Allie. I was like, if we wanted to, we could do 2 nights here. So come on into the grotto with me. And we have our own little private swimming hole right here off of our campsite. Not too deep, and I'm gonna get my swim trunks on, and I might just come in here and just kind of get a fresh rinse on myself, and Allie can come down and play, and we got a little waterfall for some noise. tonight. So yes, we are.
This
It's beautiful. I mean, it's
Horrible.
absolutely. You see that view down there? Look, show them down the. I'll hold on to you so you don't fall. Show them down the. I mean, really, it doesn't get much better than that. Some of Arizona's finest, if I could say, from what I've seen. This is really, really beautiful. So, big thumbs up to Uncle Dougie for hooking it up, and we're gonna get unpacked and crack a drink and enjoy it. So, again, we'll be back in a little bit.
Not that I've seen people do that, but I've seen people do that. There we go. Safety, first, second, and third.
I don't know if I'll be able to get that little knot off, so let's just work on. Let me see. Let me see it. Yeah, see this.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna find you a better stick. Hold on. I'll go look. You stay here, okay? I'll be right back. Here. Take this.
I have that light on the table.
Oh, I got
You got your light out there.
this thing here. I paid for itself.
Some of that pine stuff isn't really
Oh, skunk.
skunk.
Yep.
Stay away.
Yeah. He's
How far out?
right here.
Oh yeah.
See him?
Uh-huh.
This is boot pushing.
We gotta add that to the list.
Son of a bitch. Look at, he's ready. He's up too. He knows.
Yeah.
Skip. Skip.
There's probably that one we can see, and there's 4 more closer than him.
Just hanging out in the little grotto, enjoying the sound of the water there, and Allie's looking for crawdads and playing with her toys. Well, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and for those that don't know me, my name is Corey. I'm with the Power Wagon family. We're based on family adventures, either with my kids or my entire family. We're out exploring the great state of New Mexico, and I'm here with Uncle Dougie Camp Boss. Why don't you can tell us a little bit about your channel and what you focus on?
Sure. My name's Doug. Go by Uncle Dougie with all my friends and family. And have a 4-wheel camper as well, and do a lot of exploring around Arizona because I still work, so I don't have a lot more than 3-day weekends. So kind of just do a lot of trips in and out of the Phoenix area to different corners of the state.
So Uncle Dougie and I met at a Overland Expo in Flagstaff one year. We were both featured trucks for their exhibit at 4-wheel campers, and we got to know each other and kept in contact. And for the last couple of years, we've been taking turns kind of visiting one another's states. So the first year, my son Evan and I went out to southern Arizona to some spots that Uncle Dougie recommended, and then he linked up with us along a river out there, and we had a really good time. And then last year, Uncle Dougie came out to New Mexico and did a few days with us, and we took him up to northern New Mexico, and then went over to another spot at Heron Lake. So we kind of went up into Colorado and then dipped back down into New Mexico. But so we had a little New Mexico adventure, and now I'm back this year with him. So I'd say a few months ago I reached out and said, hey, we're overdue for getting together. It's my turn to come your way. And I said, this is your home state, your turf. You set it up, you do what you think would be best. And I just kind of relied on him. And honestly, it's a different perspective when you don't do any kind of map work or anything. Like on my end, like I was just relying on you. So I wasn't watching the map. I was just following you most of this trip, and really couldn't even tell you where we were at in the state and stuff. And we looked a couple times. You kind of explained to me, but you know, you forget about how much effort someone puts into kind of doing all these routes and stuff. And when you don't have to do that, you're like, wow, this is kind of nice. It's like, wow, I'm just along for the ride, you know, and relying on you. So that was great. So,
and then sort of just pulling her out, you know, and I use Gaia. I know some people don't. Some people use Onyx. I'm trying to decide which I want to use, but still in Gaia right now. And just looking at it right now, the route from yesterday when I first planned it out was about 46 miles. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, decent forest roads, you know, nothing really where we're going to be crawling along, maybe doing about 20 miles an hour. So I don't know, a couple hours basically and things like that. We might stop here or there. So I was, you know, maybe going to keep everything at about 46 miles as far as a route goes. And
like a daily thing.
A daily for the day. That would, you know, give us time. And we got a little later start. In my mind, I thought we were going to start around 9 or 10, but we didn't start until about 1, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll go back to day one.
Yeah.
You had worked your way up to Springerville, Arizona.
Yeah.
The day before.
Yeah, I took off after work on a Wednesday night and got up just outside of Sholo, and just found some forest land up there that I could camp on, and just camped overnight, got up, made some coffee, and I only had about an hour's drive from there to Springerville. So, yeah.
And I reached out to Uncle Dougie and I told him, hey, this is the time we're planning on leaving. I had to get my son to Grandma's house so she could watch him for a couple of days. And my daughter Allison and I, you know, were the ones on this trip. So my wife stayed home because of work and whatnot. But so we headed out about 9 o'clock from New Mexico. You know, luckily we gained an hour going into Arizona. We fell back an hour due to the time change. So I think we met up around 12:30ish in Springerville and had a nice sit down meal. And then from there, that's kind of where, you know, Uncle Dougie took over. You can kind of explain where out of Springerville we headed which way.
Yeah, we kind of came out of Springerville and Eager. They're two little towns that kind of blend together, and Eager's on sort of the south side of that whole of two little towns. So we came out of there and sort of headed southeast. So we're heading back towards New Mexico. There's a highway there called it's State Route 180. So it basically takes you from Springerville down to a town called Alpine. And what we did is we went down about 12, 15 miles down that road, and then cut off and got on a couple forest roads, and then just wrapped around the back side of the mountain. So we were running parallel with 180, and really right between 180 and the Arizona-New Mexico line.
Yeah.
And then we kind of came up over that one ridge and dropped in, and we were they're right behind a place called Luna Lake in the little town of
That's right.
Alpine.
That's right.
So we stopped by and checked out Luna Lake. It was getting a little cloudy like it is now. It's sort of that monsoon season, so clouds up. It usually doesn't rain. Sprinkled on us just super lightly. We stopped at Luna Lake. It's down quite a bit, but
Yeah.
hopefully they'll pick up some water this year with a good monsoon.
We did check out the campground there,
Yeah.
not knowing what they had to offer, and it wasn't for us, to say that. I mean, to keep it. I mean, there was your typical your pop-ups and your travel trailers and your people with their tents, and the big thing is it wasn't anywhere near the water. So if we wanted to do that, we could go anywhere else. I mean, we could go
Yeah.
wherever we wanted and not be around anybody. So why would we,
Yeah, it wasn't like one of those deep forest lakes where you could pull up right next to it and be on the shore of the lake. It's kind of
Yeah.
almost a quasi state park or a city park kind
That's,
of
yeah,
lake.
that is what it reminded
Where
me of.
the camping was way off and probably at least a good 200 yards off the shoreline.
It was muddy.
And muddy, and
Yeah.
and then you go around the other side of the lake, and they had a couple little docks and the
Yeah,
whatnot. But
yeah.
still a neat little lake up there. You're up at about 8,000 feet, so the temperature was right. And it was a Thursday. Nobody
Yeah.
was there.
Well, there was
There's a
some
few
pe-
campers,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah, but
nobody on the water.
nobody on the water. But so we checked out Luna Lake, and then from there we kept going, and we were actually traveling down a road, and Dougie's on Gaia now just to make sure we don't misquote anything. But we were traveling down the road. He'll speak
Yeah.
to it here shortly. But then we happened to be driving, and he's like, "Hey, did you see that over the radio?" And I'm like, "I did," because I caught the last little bit of it as we were coming around a corner, and off to our left was this little 2-track that dipped down to an almost dry creek bed. There was a little bit
Yeah.
of pooled water down there, but there was some really pretty cottonwood trees and stuff, and there was a fire ring there. It was obviously a camp, dispersed, just national forest or whatever it was. And he said, "Let's check it out." So we did, and yeah, you can.
Yeah, I wasn't getting super late, but with the hills and the canyons, just like right now, the sun just went behind this ridge, and it's 4:41,
Yeah.
and sunset's not till 7:30. So I mean, we're in the shade, and we're going to be kind of in this same kind of light for the next almost 3 hours,
Yeah.
just because of the valleys and whatnot. So it was getting kind of late, and being kind of first day of the trip and stuff like that, I really like to try to just get settled and get into a camp spot and get the top popped up with the sunlight, and maybe
Take a
even
deep breath.
take a deep breath and
Yeah.
get a little cooking done
Yep.
when there's still just natural light. I just find it more relaxing, and you don't have that kind of anxiety of trying to set up in the middle of the night or just wondering if this is a good spot, or
Well, sometimes you play that game where it's like, well, let's see what the next one looks like. Let's see
Yeah.
what the next one, and you get into that kind of routine where you're like, well, maybe the next one's, and then next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock at night, and you're like, okay, now I have to settle for something. So we didn't want to do that either. We walked down there to the camp, left our vehicles up on the forest road, walked the 2-track down to the campsite. We're like, yeah, we can make this work. It looks like a cool spot. There wasn't a lot of bugs. So yeah, we set up, got everything set up, enjoyed a little bit of music, had a couple drinks. Allie played around in camp and kind of explored the area a little bit. Yeah, so it was really, really nice. Made some dinner, just kept it simple. We did chili dogs that night, which actually turned out really well. And yeah, sat around the propane. We are in stage 2, most of Arizona, or the area we've been traveling through. So propane fire pit, sat around. I think we stayed up till what, 10 o'clock maybe?
Yeah,
Just
maybe about
chit-chatting.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then called it a night and fell asleep really still. There was no breeze, there was nothing. It was cool weather and not a bit of wind. It was kind of eerie, but it made for good sleeping weather. We got a good rest, and next morning we got up, made a decent breakfast. We weren't going to rush each other trying to get back on the road, but even not rushing, what time would you say we got back on the road?
I think we were back on the road just a touch after 10. I think is what it was. We can look back actually probably at a video clip and see it, because we had a really interesting thing happen to us.
That's right.
As we had packed up. So we had packed up, and then I was checking the maps or getting ready, and earlier that morning we saw a big rancher go by with a trailer with a horse in the back of the trailer, and it was rattling down the road pretty hard. And then another one went by, And we're like, it's Friday morning, they're working, and that was kind of interesting. And we'd seen a little bit of cattle along the road as we came down in there. And the next thing you know, we were really about ready to pull out. And I thought I heard somebody like yelling at their dog that was maybe walking on the road, because we really hadn't seen any people. We saw 3 cars that morning.
Yeah.
And those are the first vehicles we'd seen in the whole trip. And the next thing you know, these 4 or 5 head of steer come rolling right through our vehicles.
Yeah.
And these 2 little range dogs, were nipping at their heels, and 2 guys on horseback just came flying right up out of nowhere and rolled right past my vehicle. And I'm like, hey, good morning. And it was like crazy. And off they went. They just were wrestling those cows right up the canyon.
And they weren't on the road. They were like blazing forests going through the brush and everything with the horses and the cows.
Yeah.
The dogs were doing a good job keeping the cows herded. And yeah, they waved back at us. They were cool about it, but it was like, wow, this is like, something out of a Western or something.
Yeah, it was pretty neat to see. So if we wouldn't have picked that spot and we hadn't planned on that spot in the first place, we wouldn't even ran into those guys that morning. And so, it's always fun when there's extra little things like that that kind of come out. So we were on a road. It's called Blue River Road, and it runs parallel to the state border. And we even crossed over into New Mexico for about 250 yards. The road, it's straight. It just comes over into New Mexico. There's a little tiny sign that's like,
welcome to New Mexico.
Yeah, it's like 10 inches by 10 inches. It's not like the giant ones on the interstate, but it just said, welcome to New Mexico. I think
you went over a cattle guard. And then
and then it dips back into Arizona. So we camped just a little bit above a campsite called Upper Blue Campground. We were maybe a mile north of there. And then we were going to go down into the canyon, possibly veer back over into New Mexico and see some Indian dwellings, cliff dwellings. But, we were kind of rolling, and as we were evaluating that was one option. And the other option I saw on when I was researching the trip just to find things interesting to do, way down in this Blue River Canyon is an actual United States post office. And I'm like, oh, I got this birthday card for another guy that we know that overlands. That'd be funny to actually get it postmarked at this little total random, super remote post office. So we decided to roll down there. It was really pretty country. Again, we would have not seen some really pretty canyons. Went through a couple small water crossings that were kind of fun, nothing too deep, but just enough to splash. And saw some, looked like a cave.
Yeah.
And I got daring enough to take my drone down into this canyon about 125 feet, you think?
Yeah.
And try to get up in front of it and see if there's any mountain lions or anything living in it. But looked empty.
Yeah.
But it was big.
It was big. And like if you watch Uncle Dougie's video on YouTube from this trip, he's probably going to insert some of that. But we drove by it again. It was something I spotted because we were on kind of a shelf road, and I was looking down at the water down in the river down there, and I saw this cave, and I was like, wow, that looks like, I thought it was a cliff dwelling at first, but definitely something was living in there at one point. But I had him check it out with the drone, and we didn't catch anything. But the adventure continued on to this, trying to find this blue post office. We weren't really sure what to expect because sometimes in rural areas they use their own personal houses and stuff, so we weren't sure what we were really looking for. So I'll let you tell them what happened when we were in the search.
Yeah, it was on the map, and it's weird because sometimes little icons are there on Gaia, and then for some reason either you don't see them, or between when it's on my phone and what actually shows on the screen on my truck, it just changes a little bit. So we rolled past this one ranch, and the ranch was the actual post office, but I was busy looking at the ranch sign because the ranch sign was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And just on the other side of the opening to the ranch was a little tiny old style blue postal box and a little brown sign that said U.S. Postal.
It was like a hand-carved
wooden little hand-carved sign. So, I mean, we weren't flying along, but we were probably doing 25 miles an hour and just sort of rolled past it and didn't even notice.
Miles.
Yeah, but we went past about 3 miles. I'm like, and I knew that the road was ending because I knew that we really couldn't go down that far. And I started looking at the map. I'm like, oh, shoot, we're coming to the end of the road. I go, I know the post office wasn't at the end. So, again, but that's where we saw the cave. So, again, a good little accident to be able to stop and see that cave down into that canyon was pretty fun thing to see.
It was. So we ended up doing some map work, and we ended up doubling back and kind of dialing in on this post office a little bit more precise with the map work. And sure enough, we pulled up, and there's the sign.
Yeah.
There's the blue hanging, not a freestanding, but like a hanging mail drop box. And again, you'll see this in the videos or our videos. I'm gonna have one, he'll have one, and you'll see it in there. But really cool kind of little spot. You know, typical flagpole, looked like something out of a Western, except for the modern blue box. We mailed the letter, and we pressed on from there. And then from there, I want to say, maybe, was it 567 or something like that? Why do I?
Yeah.
That was that turn.
Yeah, I think that's 567 or 576.
Okay.
One of the two. Yeah.
Okay, so we grabbed another forest road off of that one. Sorry, these beetles. Grabbed another forest road, and we're headed to camp now at this point. Now we are back on track for the day.
And I love it because on Gaia, if you have your track on there, it puts it right over the top of the road number.
So you can't read
So
it.
I can see a 5, and I can see part of a 7, and I think it is a 6. I think it
yeah.
is 567.
Okay.
But thank you, Gaia.
Yeah.
Maybe let the friggin' road numbers be on top of your route, but
Yeah,
you know,
the writing would be on
Right.
above your
first world problem, I guess. So.
So yeah, we proceeded on that, and that kind of took us to kind of a historic highway. I think it's a
Yeah,
highway.
so that took us up out of that canyon. We started heading back northwest a little bit. So
that was a lot of shelf road.
A lot of shelf road coming up out of the canyon. It actually had a few rock formations that were Sedona-esque. You know, red rock is really. I'd never been back in there, so I've been in this area a little bit, mainly just to go to cabins or just do tent camping back in the day, and not really explore the forest road. So it was really the whole reason I got this truck is to be able to say that I want to go down that road and just see what's down there, type of thing. So it was a really nice ascent up out of the canyon, and then we get up to Highway 191.
Well, prior to that,
Yeah.
Dougie almost crashed his drone.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a goner. I'm watching it. I'm behind him, and he's in front of me, and he's got the drone pacing us, and we're on a shelf road, so this is all open airspace over here, but the shelf road is kind of following the curvature of the hillside or the mountain, and this drone, and then you was on a pre-programmed thing, right?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I wanted maybe the drone to come around and film the side of the vehicle, but then just the way that we turned, we suddenly came around a corner and turned sharply. So then it was overcorrecting, and it literally went straight across the road
Into
all these trees, and it has avoidance collision, and that definitely worked. But I just remember looking up, going, you know, it wasn't a skinny shelf road, but it's a little bit of shelf road. I just see the drones shooting across the road and into the trees. I'm like, oh no, I've crashed this thing, and it was fine. I was able just to shoot it straight up and get it out of the trees, and
luckily,
I'll probably leave that in the footage just because it was kind of funny to watch that thing go into the trees.
How close in the trees?
Oh, you'll see in the trees. You'll see branches like right in front of the camera, and you won't. I don't know how it didn't hit anything, but that was kind of funny. But yeah, we got up out of there, and there is a highway that does kind of run along the east side of the state. It really, you can't drive very fast on it because it's super, super windy, and it's called 191. In the old days, it used to be called Highway 666, but they changed the number of it. Who knows for what reason, or this, that, and the other. But at one point, they changed it to 191. And the interesting thing about that highway is you can actually take that highway from the Mexican border, and I think it starts down by Douglas. I'm not sure of Douglas, but I think Douglas, and you go all the way up to the Canadian border.
Wow. So almost trans-U.S. You can.
Yep.
Wow. So we did jump on that pavement. That was the first pavement we'd seen in a while, but it was short. I mean, I could almost see where we were going up the highway. It was a 2-lane highway, and we jumped. We didn't air up our tires. It was like 35 miles an hour, so we just jumped on the pavement, headed up, and then from there we jumped on to
Force Ward 37.
Okay.
Which was really amazing. It's
Yes.
because, again, this part of the state, it's really hard to get to from Phoenix. You have to kind of loop around to get to this area. You have either way, you have to go all the way around.
There's no direct
route just because of all the canyons and different things going on. It'd be impossible to have a road that just shoots straight over to this area. So that really discourages a lot of people to want to come up here, which then means empty roads, you know. So we only saw what?
Beetle.
Got it? All right,
There
thank
you
you.
go. Yeah.
We only saw a forest crew, a forest fighting crew,
Yeah.
just doing I think they're just out doing training or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
So we traveled along. It was a bit of a burn scar, but it was an older burn scar. And we kind of estimated, I think maybe about 10 years or so, because there was some new growth. Real pretty area, and we traveled along there for quite a ways. And it was just kind of a lot of that more shelf road, beautiful views the entire time. I mean, just breathtaking. Would have never thought I was in Arizona this entire trip. It's just been a blast. I got desert at home in New Mexico, so I didn't want to go to somebody else's desert. I wanted to go to this kind of stuff. So took that road, and we ended up coming down. We kind of came down in elevation pretty quickly. It was pretty steep.
Yeah, we came up on a saddle, and we were at about
Yeah.
just under 9,000 feet.
Okay.
And then we started coming down, and then the road tees into Forest Road 276. And that comes down into this canyon that we're in now. And this is one of the two forks of what's called the Black River. And rivers in Arizona are either completely dry and sandy, or they're 8 feet wide. So this one's up here where it starts, it's about 8 feet wide, looks more like a creek, but they do stock it. And where we're at along this route, section of 276, there's about 5 different campsites that you can stay at along here and trout fish and the whatnot. So it's really a pretty area. We were staying at this Diamond Rock, which is at the very northern end of the canyon. And then tomorrow we're going to drive down through the rest of the canyon and see some of the other campsites, just so we kind of see what else is available. But it's really, really pretty area.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to try to find some water. It's been kind of dusty and dirty, long drive all day. Allie, she's down there right now playing in the water, right? It's not, I mean, we're talking water that's no deeper than your knees. And I'm comfortable. I can hear her from here. But anyway, she's down there playing. This is what she wanted to do, right? So I'm trying to provide something for her, not just for me. So she's down there enjoying herself, doing the thing down there. And we wanted the water. We wanted that ambient noise, that kind of white noise in the evenings to fall asleep to with our windows open in the campers. So popped into this, what did we say? Black Rock?
Diamond Rock.
Diamond Rock. So we came into Diamond Rock, and it's a primitive type campground, right? There's no hookups, mostly tent. I don't think you could get a travel trailer into most of these, maybe a small teardrop or something, but perfect for our setup. Or if you're on the ground in a tent, which most other people are here, we're actually the only vehicles in a camper here in the whole in the campground. I'd say there's about 8 spots, and aside from ours, there's 2 other ones that are occupied. So out of 8, there's us and 2 other people here. Very quiet, very spaced out. You don't hear any, you're not listening to somebody else's party at night. So yeah, and there's a vault toilet, which is always convenient. So we checked it out, and we're like, man, this spot right here, which you'll see you've seen, or you will see a video of when we first got here, how excited I was. I was just like my breath was taken away, because you can see behind us we got this sheer kind of canyon wall with these beautiful aspens and ponderosa pines all around us. And then just the sound of the water when we got out of the truck, I was like, oh, there's water down there. And sure enough, behind some of this vegetation that you see behind us is the creek or the river. And it was like, oh man, as soon as we were set up, I was down there up to my knees and just kind of playing in the water. And then we did some fishing, and then we talked about it a little bit, because we originally had planned maybe to push on, right?
Yeah, just because I haven't been through this canyon yet and wanted to experience it. So I was kind of saying, hey, let's just maybe look at all the different campsites. But it did come down to one of those things like, man, that one was a pretty good campsite. It was a little bit early on Friday, so we were probably maybe an hour and a half ahead of anybody who was taking a half day off work or taking a whole Friday off and coming up to camp. So we were like, you know what, let's just grab that one, because it was within, because we actually drove down and looked at 2 other sites.
Yeah.
And what the thing with the other 2 sites were, literally the road goes right past them. And this one set off the road a little bit. And then also this site is
this site specifically that
this
we're
site specifically is like 25 feet to the water.
in. Yeah.
To where a lot of the other ones, you would either have to walk across the road to get to the water, you know, and again, first world problems, but yeah, this one just was fitting the bill.
All the
checked all the boxes. There you go.
And so we were going to do one night here, and then we're going to press on out of this canyon and kind of go up in elevation to what is it? The lake. Big Lake.
Yeah.
And we were going to try to another spot I'd never been. Uncle Dougie's been there, but we were thinking Big Lake. Maybe do some kind of camping there and do our last night up at the lake. But after we talked about it, me not knowing what Big Lake had in store, Uncle Dougie said, hey, if you want to be near the water, this is the place to be. Maybe we should do 2 nights here, because Big Lake is pretty, but there's not a lot of shade.
No.
And you're going to have to walk to the water, like you're a ways away.
Yep.
And I said, well, if that's the case, I mean, me personally, I saw this place. I was like, oh man, I wish I could build a cabin right here in this spot. But so if that's the case, let's do the 2 nights here. Let's take full advantage of this beautiful spot that we were fortunate to get. And sure enough, that's what we did. So we stayed the first night. Uncle Dougie brought up some ribeyes and some asparagus and sauteed some mushrooms and did a really great dinner for us last night. Had a little music going, a couple of cocktails, and then headed over to the propane fire pit and sat around that for a little bit until it was like, okay, it's 10:30 or so. Let's call it a night. But one thing I'm kind of forgetting about is the animal life. You could speak to some of the. I mean, I've seen more critters and animals at this campsite in this weekend than I probably have seen in any of my other campsites combined. So I'll let you talk to some of these animals, or name off of.
Yeah, I'll name off a few, and then if I forget any, you can throw in. But yeah, when we first even before we got here, we just saw some cattle, which is just normal. But a lot of cattle even out on the highway, open range cattle. So a lot of those guys. And then when we got here, we were talking to the ranger and checking in. And he's like, just so you know, there are some small red and cinnamon bears around, which we have yet to see, so that one's not checked on the list. But as we were actually checking in with the ranger and doing our thing, right over our shoulder here on these rocks behind us were some goats, and they a whole pack of them, probably about almost 2 dozen, and they were sitting up on the hill and just slowly walking down to get in the water. So like, oh, that's really amazing. And then, you know, obviously campsites like this have a bunch of chipmunks and squirrels, so we saw some of them. And then we went just to walk out on the road just to kind of get out and stretch our legs a little bit. We've been sitting for a little bit, and we saw a couple of pretty big-sized deer. Yep. I mean, those were
blacktail, I think.
Blacktail deer, and those were within what, about 50 yards of the campsite. Yep. And then also had dinner, threw on the fire pit, and Corey could just see something out of a corner of his eye, so he threw his flashlight on, and it was the biggest skunk I'd seen in a long time. So we got a skunk as well. And then this morning when I was filming some stuff with my camera, a decent little gardener looking snake, he was maybe 2.5 feet long, was slithering just past me a little bit, and saw him. Saw a couple of osprey, big birds. Saw a couple mallards go through, do their thing. There's been a couple big cranes that we've seen. And then I just did a hike back into the canyon just to see if it became more amazing or not. It was really dense, but saw another really big crane living back in there. So,
and then the guy in the water over here, the dam.
Oh yeah, that's right. We go down here and we're like, wow, that looks like a beaver dam. And then we go, oh, but that even looks like a beaver hutch. And then we go, oh, that looks like a beaver. And the beaver had literally just come out of his little hutch and was floating around in the water. And we were maybe about 100 yards back. So we went right up on top of him. And he was just cruising around up on the surface of the water doing his thing. So, and that's the first beaver I think I've seen since I've lived in Arizona.
So
that was
it's really cool. And he built a great dam, because there's a beautiful pool of water there where the water's dammed up. And I thought for sure we were going to catch some fish in there, but unfortunately we tried. We didn't get any bites or nothing, at least on my end.
I think the beaver got most of the fish.
Yeah, they do stock it, like Uncle Dougie said. They do come out and stock it, and they hand stock it. So they're probably putting in little size starters, and that beaver's got the run of the mill as much as he wants to eat, probably whenever they stock it. So, but yeah, really cool to see all these critters and animals, and it's just, yeah, it was so much so that for the first time I run a trash bag on my tire, a Blue Ridge Overland. Just, you know, it's personally my favorite trash bag. I run that, and I've always run it there on my spare. Never even considered pulling the garbage out of it due to animal life, but we're talking, there's bears, there's other chipmunks and squirrels. Those skunks were obviously smelling something, wanting to come in. So I asked him, I said, hey, he's got a garage on his Bowen bed over there. If you'll see his truck in his video, he's got a real nice garage portion in front of the camper. I said, hey, do you mind if I pull my garbage? I don't want to be in bed worried that something's trying to pot my spare tire trying to get my garbage. So that's what we did, just to be safe last night.
Yeah, and I was hoping to maybe wake up and see some animals like real close to the campsite, but didn't see any of the elk or anything. But it's about 5 o'clock right now, so I think as we wrap this up, I guarantee you they'll start coming and come out for their evening feeding time, I guess you could say. So.
Yeah, and then that kind of brings us to where we're at tonight. We're going to do some chicken fajitas. It's been a great day. We've kind of done a lot of fishing and playing in the water. I've still got my swim trunks on. Allie's still down there as we speak. And yeah, so it's been a really fun, relaxing day, enjoying ourselves and so forth. So yeah, we're gonna have a nice dinner tonight. Sit around the fire again, enjoy the sound. Man, you can't. There's no replacement. Oh, beetle on my hat.
Oh yeah, there he is. Oh, he's still there. Later.
These guys are all over the place, but luckily they're harmless. But yeah, you can't find a replacement for the sound of that little water. I mean, it's a good white noise. It's just so nice. So we thought we'd do a little kind of after actions, but before it's over, we'd sit down and talk to you all about how the trip went, why we do this together. We kind of long distance buddies, and we try to ping each other once a year at least if we don't see each other at an expo or some other event. If you have a four-wheel camper, we're admins for Southwest Four-Wheel Camper group on Facebook, which is growing immensely. Hands out to Christy, who nails it every time. I give her so much props for running that page. She does such a great job. So yeah, if you got a four-wheel camper and you live in the Southwest or near, please give us a follow on Facebook, join the group, and listen to some of the conversation and see some of the trips that other members are going on. We love the product, and that's why we started that page. I have the Project M. He's got a flatbed Hawk. So yeah, just great products. We don't have any complaints, and it allows us to do exactly what we're doing here today. So can't beat that. But again, a little after actions before it's over, letting you all know how our trip went, what we saw, what we experienced, what we liked and what we didn't like. I don't have any dislikes, anything I was unhappy with. I mean, I've just been ecstatic this whole time. We've gotten fortunate with the weather. We've gotten fortunate with the vehicles and driving. We've gotten fortunate with the roads. We've gotten fortunate with just the meals have been good. And there's just nonstop blessings our way on this trip that we can't be more grateful for. So again, thank you all for tuning in with Uncle Dougie and I. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure you ask them on his video or my video. Again, like and subscribe, both of us. It helps us out a lot. And again, we're more than willing to answer any questions you have. And if you get a chance, you got to visit this part of Arizona. So definitely a big thumbs up to this trip, and it's going to be very sad going home tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
All right, see you guys.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's the last day. Time to pack up and head home. Sundays are always the hardest. You wish you could stay out here longer. I don't think I've ever been on a trip where I've kind of wanted to go home. Aside from the normal stuff of seeing my son and my wife and all that. So that's all normal, but man, it's such a beautiful spot. Allie's over there eating her yogurt and granola because we do an easy breakfast on the departure day. Dougie's over there working on putting his stuff away. I've got the top closed up and just packing little stuff up now. We'll make our way up to Big Lake, Arizona. We'll check it out on our way back to the freeway, and then we're headed back to my house. So Dougie's coming with me to my place because he's pushing on to Bowen in Denver. So I told him, hey, why don't you stay with us? You can shower and do laundry or whatever you need, because he's going to be out another week and a half probably on the road. So it'll be a good kind of place for him to stop and do some housekeeping stuff. So yeah, so he's coming home with us tonight, going to hang out with us tonight, and then he'll press on to Colorado tomorrow morning. So, but anyway, yeah, pack up day, and just taking in that last little bit of that river or creek sound. And it was so nice last night. The temperature was low 50s, about 53 or 54, and man, it was nice. It was nice. Windows open, blanket kept us warm, and you could hear the water, and it was just, yeah, super nice. But anyway, yeah, beautiful area. We will be back, definitely. So I really like this kind of canyon in this spot. So yeah, anyway, good times. Thanks for tuning in. And again, please like and subscribe if you like this content. It really helps us out. Just hit those little buttons, and it means a lot. So you guys have a good rest of your weekend. We're going to do the same, and we'll see you on the next adventure. All right, we made it to Big Lake. It's not super big, but it's got the name. So yeah, no camping near Big Lake, unfortunately. You've got to be in a campground or you're a ways off. So, but we did stop here to use the bathroom. We aired up all the tires. Gonna hit the little marina here for some lickies and chewies, and then use the bathroom, and we'll be headed on pavement the rest of the way home. So yeah, good times. Safe travels home. Well, unfortunately, our trip has come to an end, and we are headed home. We're back on pavement, and making the long 6-hour trek back to our house hopefully goes by pretty quickly. And we just can't thank Uncle Dougie enough for taking time out of his busy schedule to show us some of the beautiful spots that are in Arizona that I would have never known about. Especially our last spot with the water was great. We had a fantastic time, and wish I could have stayed longer. But the whole trip in general was great. Had a blast, and I'm already starting to plan one for next year when Uncle Dougie comes out to New Mexico, and we show him some areas of our state. So yeah, it should be a good time. Stay tuned for our next adventure. We appreciate you guys following along with us. Please like and subscribe. It's very easy for you to do, and it means a lot for us. So, and if you have a comment or a question about anything, by all means, hit the comment button down below and leave us a comment. I'm pretty good about answering everybody. So if you have any questions about stuff or rigs or anything, gear, let us know, and I'll try to get it answered for you. So again, thanks for tuning in. And as you can see, like and subscribe on the screen. So take care of that for us, and we'd appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon on the next adventure.